Today we are doing a short workout specifically for those with hypermobility. Hi, I'm Jessica Valant. I'm a physical therapist and women's health expert and movement teacher, and I'm here to offer you resources to feel safe and strong in your body in all seasons of life. You can find more of my resources at the links below, including some special hypermobility resources, including a recent podcast that I have and a 4-week workout calendar specifically for those with hypermobility. Those links are below. Let's start with just a moment of walking in place as I chat with you about this workout today. So there are many safe workouts for those with hypermobility, and I have hundreds of those myself here in this channel and in my unlimited community. The key is knowing what works for your body. Things like lifting weights are really great for those with hypermobility. Things like mobility movements and avoiding true stretching and deep stretching. So as long as you know what works for you, there are so many great workouts for you out there. This is just one that we're gonna do on the mat to be safe for your joints, for your connective tissue, and to help you start to feel safe in your body. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and bring our feet shoulder distance apart, all right? Have them slightly turned out. And you're gonna sit back and down into a squat as your arms come forward. And then you're gonna stand back up. So we're gonna do a few moves in standing and then we're gonna go down to the mat. Hypermobility responds really well to closed chain movements. Something like a squat like this where your feet are touching the ground, or things even where your hands are touching the ground. So we wanna help with our joint receptors, help strengthen our muscles. We want to avoid deep stretching typically when you're on that hypermobility spectrum. And I'm going to have links below to some great workouts with dumbbells, because again, that is really helpful when you have hypermobility to learn how to lift weights safely. All right, one more. Nice job. Now, I just want you to sit back a little bit, okay? Like a mini squat. Bring your arms to the sides here, palms facing forward. Reach your hands up and down. So we're doing some shoulder mobility here. Again, that is much different than stretching. We're working the strength in the range of motion of the joint. Okay, last 2. And 1. Nice job. Bring them in. Arms come to your sides, palms back, and just do little pulses here. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand back up, and we're gonna come down onto the mat. So you're gonna be on hands and knees. Again, I'm a physical therapist, and I can tell you that being on hands and knees, having your hands on the ground, feet on the ground, that closed chain movement is really what hypermobility responds well to. It also can feel a little scary when you are on the hypermobility spectrum. I'm there as well. I understand. So let's talk through it. Hands underneath your shoulders. Spread your fingertips wide. And then make sure you're not locking your elbows. That's gonna be your tendency most likely. So little bend in the elbows, and you want the eyes of your elbows facing each other. So basically you bend your elbows slightly and then wrap your elbows to the outside slightly, okay? So now your arm muscles are working. And then you wanna press away from your hands, and that's the position I want you to be in. Now reach your right leg back, point your toes, and lift the leg up and down. So we're really stabilizing through our shoulders, through our arms, through our core, and then getting some great leg work at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Bring the leg in. Other leg reaches back, point the toes, lift, lower. So exercise and movement truly are one of the best ways that we can help manage our hypermobility. The key is knowing the exercises that are going to make you feel best and that are safe for your body. And as I mentioned at the beginning, there are so many workouts, just regular workouts that are going to be safe for you once you just get to know your body and the things that feel best. Last one. and come in. Nice job. So now from here, I want you to bend your elbows out to the side, lower your chest, lift back up. So we're just doing kind of this modified push-up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. You can sit back and restack your spine and then bring your legs around in front of you. So as I mentioned, we want to stay away from really deep stretching. That is tends to flare up those of us who are hypermobile. Instead, we want to focus on mobility. So you're going to sit up nice and tall, legs straight, pull your toes back, and then bring your hands behind your head. And inhale, you're going to rotate to the left. Exhale, center. Inhale, rotate right. Exhale, center. So this is actually working your strength in that range of motion that you have. Because typically those of us with hypermobility are going to have too much range of motion, and then we can't control that range of motion we have. So what we want is we want to keep ourselves out of that full deep range of motion or full deep stretch, back out a little bit, and then strengthen in that more middle mobility ground. One more each side. Last one. Center. Arms come down to your sides. Zip your legs together. Make sure you have some room behind you. Bring your arms in front of you again, and then curl your tailbone and roll yourself down onto your mat. Nice job. Arms are going to come down to your sides. Bend your knees. Feet are hip distance apart. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your tailbone and roll yourself up one vertebrae at a time into what we call a bridge. Inhale at the top and exhale to curl and roll back down. Nice. You can continue here at your own pace. We are articulating through our spine, so teaching our body how to kind of move through our spines, strengthening into the glutes and the back and the backs of the legs. Keeping your head and neck and shoulders relaxed. On this one, roll up, stay there. Keep your hips level. Lift one leg up to tabletop. That's this knee bent position. Lower it down, and then the other leg. And lower. Trying to keep those hips level. One more each side. Nice job. Inhale, and then exhale, curl, and roll back down. And roll onto your left side. You're going to have your elbow underneath your shoulder. Knees are bent with your knees one on top of the other, all right? So you have a straight line down the front of your body. Lift your hips up and down. So we're doing a side plank. So we have a lot of important concepts here too, because another important thing with hypermobility is that we are working kind of full body movements, trying to integrate all of that connection and movement organization. So we have shoulder working right here and really attaching itself into our upper back and our torso. Then we have a lot of obliques and abs working, and outer hip. Good, one more. Nice job. Now what I want you to do is just reach the top leg out and do little pulses. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Bend. You can come up. If it sounds good, you can just do a small little side stretch. We're not going really deep, just lengthening that side. And then we're going to lay down on our right sides. Elbow underneath your shoulder. Knees bent, line everything up in the front, and then lift and lower. And take a moment up there. You don't have to pause necessarily, but spend that exhale up there. You're trying not to just bounce in and out of it. Good, last one. Lower down and then simply lift the top leg out and little pulse, pulse, pulse. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Bend. Again, press up. You can help release that. Nice job. And then we're going to come back to all fours. So think through that positioning again. You're going to have your hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And then bend the elbows slightly. I like to turn them out, so I kind of bend them out to the side slightly. And then I wrap those elbows back. So they're still slightly bent, and I'm using those triceps. And then press away from your hands. And now from here, keep that stability and reach the right arm in front of you. And if that's okay, then reach the left leg back. And then bring it all back in. So find that strong position, don't lock your elbows. Then reach the left arm forward and right leg back. Good, and then bring that back in. One more here, tuck the toes under. So you're still in that strong position in your arms. We're almost there. Tuck your toes under, lift your knees and hover. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice job. Knees down, feet down, and then press yourself back. Maybe even open up your knees and press back and just settle into your hips. And take 2 deep breaths. Remembering to nourish your body, nourish your nervous system. Find movement that feels safe and supported. And then walk your hands back and roll yourself back up. Nice job. You did great. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, there is movement and strength available to you if you are on the hypermobility spectrum. I promise. You can check out my resources below. I'll see you on your mat soon. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you never miss new releases. And here are a few recommendations for what to try next. See you soon.